6th of November 2024. Today I'm very excited about because it is a originals gig tonight. Most of the videos I've been making recently have been cover gigs, but the original gig stuff is what I am aiming for, what I want to do. So to be able to document it now is lovely. I was just about to leave and got a message. I got a message from Simon saying, "Hey, if you can." We'll get to Simon in a minute, but I got a message from Simon saying, "Hey, if you can bring an USB stick or a hard drive, we can record the gig." So I'm going to run back inside, and that's what I'm going to grab. Okay. Spoiler warning, as of the time of this voiceover recording, the audio file of the gig is slightly corrupted, apparently. I don't know if you can be slightly corrupted, but it's corrupted. So I don't know if you'll hear the gig that was recorded, but I do have some footage of it, some really nice footage that will come out at a later date. But yes, Simon. Simon is a singer-songwriter, a very, very good friend of mine who I've had the pleasure of playing with in a few capacities. We've done some cover band stuff. I actually had the honor of playing with him in his solo project, in that sort of early formation of it. He had like a 3-piece guitar, acoustic guitar and baritone guitar kind of setup. So that was really, and he had that as sort of trying out his songs and getting his legs as a sort of a front man before going on to play in the band that you'll see later on in this video. But we talk a lot, and we talk a lot about music stuff and what it's like, how to go about promos and blah 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 blah. And he mentioned earlier on in the year that he's got this gig at the Charlatan in Ghent, and I don't know what came over me. And I am embarrassed to admit this, but I was on the phone to him. He said about it, and I said, "That's great," because I do believe that is great. And then I said, "Who have you got opening for you?" And he said, "Oh, I haven't really thought about that." And I said, "Can I? Can I open for you?" So he very graciously allowed me to fulfill one of my musical bucket list things. So Ghent is, if you know Ghent and you know the music scene in Ghent, is a bit of a staple here, and I lived across from it for 3 years when I first moved to Ghent. I've seen a bunch of shows in there, so it's been on my bucket list to play this venue. So thank you, Simon, for allowing me to tick off that bucket list thing. And also, I also want to say this as well. If you've been following the channel, or following the videos, or watching the videos in chronological order, you would have seen that I've been playing a lot of cover gigs, and the reason of this is to get some money together to get me over a certain threshold so that I can pursue more original stuff next year. And that's kind of been all-consuming. It's mostly all I've been doing. So to have this gig come along where I'm playing original music, my original music, in a place that I wanted to play, has given me a real shot of inspiration, and has helped me find extra strength. It's also come along at a perfect time because, again, if you've been following the videos in a chronological order, you'll see I've been recording an album. So during the cover gigs, I'm not really playing them. Because, I have once or twice when there's been really, really quiet or no one's listening. But for a general rule, I don't really do my original stuff during the cover gigs. So to have a time where I can play nothing but that and really sit back into myself and just remind myself why it is I'm doing this has come along at a perfect time. So again, thank you, Simon, if you're watching this. I very much appreciate it. And again and again and again, if you've been following the chronological order of these videos, you'll see I've been recording at Poolside Studio with a beautiful man called Xavier. Now, Xavier was going to make a cameo in a minute because he is the bass player in Simon's band. He also has recorded Simon's music too, so it's a nice little what's that called? Like a ecosystem of music and musicians. He's going to be the guy that's going to come up on your screen in a moment on the left. You will recognize him. The guy on the right that you'll see in a second is the drummer, Lucas El Locomotivo, who has been playing in the band, in my band, in the band that we've had for the last couple of years, Freddie and the Fabs. A wonderful human being, very, very good looking. Simon has got a very good looking band. It's very upsetting. See, there he is. Look at him. Oh, look at them, both of them, beautiful. The camera is now going to pan round, and there we're going to see Simon Lamar himself. Whoa, look at him. Beautiful man. I love him. I really, really love him. Just a very, very good soul. A good egg, as they say. We're now going to move to the left. In the corner is Steph, saxophone player. The girl in the middle, I'm sorry, I don't know who you are. Sorry. And there we have Dorian. Dorian is really, really cool. She's also playing the saxophone in Simon's band. And I had the pleasure of playing with her in a band called Kabunga, which there'll be a video about coming up following weeks, but she's not in that video. But we have done a gig together and a bunch of rehearsals, so this was really nice. This whole backstage thing here and just being around these people again cemented why it is I want to do what I'm doing. Is the hang, it's the vibe. We're all doing the same thing, we're all pushing for the same purpose, we're all trying to emote and create and express and communicate with people. It's all very woo-woo what I'm saying, but it's true. I really do believe it. And this bit here, just there was a sense of community, which again I think, going back to the cover stuff, is something that I do not have doing that. I mean, I'm not going to go over old ground too much, but I've said on numerous occasions now that the solo journey can be one of it can be a lonesome one. So I'm playing solo here, so that's fine. That's what I want to do at this point. But to just be able to hang with other people that are all pointing in the same direction, and it felt nice. It felt really good. Plus, I knew a lot of these people already, so that helps. That creates more of the hang feel. But yeah. So this is the gig. I set a camera up, as you can see, behind the drum kit to sort of capture it. I didn't know there was going to be footage of the gig, so I won't include that here. We'll save that for another time, but the footage is very well done. Now, the purpose of this channel is to, is to accurately and honestly depict what it is that someone pursuing music can come up against. In my particular case, like we've said, it's solo stuff, acoustically based, so you kind of know where you're at in that brackets, in those brackets. Now, I'm opening for a band here, and people know that they're coming to see a band. So when a guy gets up when a guy or girl gets up with an acoustic guitar before a band, I can assume that certain percentage of the crowd are going to be like, oh, okay, here we go. Because most singers, songwriters there's a lot of slow stuff, there's a lot of sad stuff. So I knew, especially as the opening act as well, that not everyone is going to be engaged in what I'm doing. Fine, that's just what it is. However, what I failed to anticipate was, during the sound check, did a sound check and it felt great. Room was empty. I could hear myself perfectly, which is something, I think I've talked about this in a previous video, but I want to experiment with some in-ears, because not being able to hear myself is really getting on my nerves and affecting how I'm playing and performing, and ultimately getting across what it is I'm trying to get across. So during the sound check, I was like, chef's kiss. I can hear myself. It sounds great. I'm playing my own music. Okay, we're good. What I failed to anticipate during that sound check was an audience filling up the room, so that will affect slightly what you're hearing back, and 2, chatting. There was a lot of chatting, which kind of was equal to, or was fighting against the level of my monitor, which I failed to anticipate. I also found myself at one point, there were some people at the front, a group of friends at the front, and there was and I could see people engaged and listening, and which was, it wasn't like everyone was not paying attention. But obviously, alcohol's flowing at this point, and maybe people haven't seen each other, so it's kind of a hangout. So the volume was getting louder and louder, and then when you start making noise, people have to talk a little bit louder to get over your noise. And I found there was a moment when I felt a slight inner rage kick in, and like wanted to make a comment about it. And at this point, I could feel myself beginning to sing more aggressively, sing louder, and hit the guitar harder. Going back to my Irish pub kind of default, which is something, as I've said in previous videos, I really want to try and get away from. And I did. And I by that I mean, I didn't allow myself to go down that route of, right, well, I'm just going to sing louder and play harder so you can't fucking talk. So I'm very proud of that, of myself for doing that, for sort of leaning into it and accepting that that's where it was, and that's where it's at. Having said that, I mean, that's kind of potentially giving you a flavour of what I thought the gig went like, and that's not true. The gig went great. I really, really enjoyed it. Had great fun playing. It felt good. It felt so nice to be on a stage with people there. There was people listening to your music and being able to. I'm mumbling. I'm tripping over my words, but hopefully you get where I'm coming from. I really, really enjoyed this gig, and extremely grateful for everyone involved. Audience, Simon, everyone in the room for being there. Yeah. So, this is the steering wheel. I've got a stand in the car now. I've got a frame, what's it called? A phone holder. Hat off, there you go. There you go. So, that went really well. I really, really enjoyed myself. The place was pretty much packed. It felt really good. A few little fluff ups on my part, but nothing that I think stood out as noticeable. Had some really nice feedback, which was nice. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe and like if you haven't done that already. How was your gig? Let me know how your gig was. Comment down below. Down below. We all know where it is. We all know where it is. It's down below. It's YouTube, for crying out loud. Right. I'm going to go home and go to bed. Thank you for watching. Love you.